Welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we're bringing you the final round for the Pagnian Imports Ferrari 488 Challenge for Project Cars 2 on PlayStation. And tonight's round is at Bannochbrae Road Circuit. There's going to be some interesting racing. It is quite a very long and technical track. We're going over and check out the session details. So we've got practice, which is 15 minutes, weather is light cloud, and qualifying 15 minutes, weather is light cloud, and it's just the one final race night worth the big points, so it's the 22 laps, and weather will progress from light cloud through to clear when there is a mandatory pit requirement. Our standings after the fourth round. Coming into the final round, we have Corby 387 leading the championship with 852 points, with Wira Dejuri 81 on 736 points, so still within shot of being able to take the championship, considering the big points that are available for the final round. Last week, we're at Willow Springs International. Corby 387 took the pole position, victory, and the fastest lap. And then in the main race, also doing the same, so making a full clean sweep, taking pole, victory, and fastest lap bonus points for the round 4. So it was some great racing by Corby at Willow Springs International. So over to the track screen. We are in Scotland. It is a fictional track created by Project Cars 2. It is a very lovely track to look at. It's actually a good fair few airborne jumps. The track length is 7.28 kilometres and there's 25 turns, and there is not much room on the track. There are a lot of close walls, so if there is any damage taken, that is going to be a very long way to limp back into the pits. So drivers will need to play very carefully whilst out on the track as to not total that car. That's going to be very unforgiving, especially when they start getting airborne on some sections of the track. Bigger track does tend to take a little bit longer to load on this one. 15 drivers loaded in. Markey doing some donouts in pit lane to start off with. And those tyres nice and warm, ready for his practice session. Mark quick to get out on track, already scraping that wall. And if you're joining us for the stream and haven't done so yet, do hit that follow button. We do go live with broadcast races for Project Cars 2 on Thursday night, 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And we also have iRacing at the same time on Monday nights. A little bit loose for Marky Mark. Game session time is 9 AM. Season is spring. Being in Scotland under that, it is definitely going to be very cool out there. It's going to be rather slippery for that first lap. Head Farmer making a little bit of contact. Yeah, Dirty Mike, it would definitely be a tough one to try and do on a controller. It is definitely hard to get a tidy lap in on the steering wheel. It does get very loose out there. We've seen a world record beating time by Mick Cliff. They're setting a 2:17. And then in the time trials for the world's fastest time, it is actually a 2:18. We may very well see Mick be able to pull off a world record time tonight, so we'll keep an eye out for those times. If we can see drivers getting into the 2:17s and quicker, it's going to be pretty phenomenal. And this track does get some great camera angles. Going to be a lot of good action to be seen on this track. At high speed at some of those crests, it does get airborne even through some corners. You can just see the tyres lift off just that little bit. Nice and airborne for Wera making that jump. You can see some tire marks locked up. Demon effects having a few issues. A little bit of wall contact. And we'll keep making our way down through the list. It'll be a little while until we see first time on the board, as it is quite a long track. Don't think that as you do join us for the stream, jump in the chat, say hello. And there is a bunch of sound effects controls that you can actually play over the stream that's underneath. So do jump in and have some fun with that. That way you can cheer on and applaud for all your favourite drivers. Mikey Marks brought that car back into the pits. And it's only a very short pit bank. Drivers will definitely be sharing a pit, most likely. So with the mandatory pit requirement, they will have to try and gauge, and since they're not actually in usually matching team cars, that usually cause the problem of having to wait for a pit stall to come available. It could very well be anyone. First times coming in now. Billy in with a 227. Lucky back into the pits. A little bit beat up in that car. There's Noel, thanks for joining us, mate. We'll jump on board for a lap with someone in a moment. Bring up the map so we can try and see who's coming up to commencing a lap. Cliff's just gone through sector 1, I think. Quite a lengthy sector. Oh, he just slowed down to bring that car into the pits and did just scrape contact. Ed Farmer's turned that car around, going in for a little bit of spin. And the weather conditions are like cloud cover still. Going to take a little while before some temps come up on the track. Wera sets a 218. He is on for a new lap. Hopefully we don't jinx him. It is a very lovely scenic racetrack. Project Cars has done a fantastic job with this track. A little bit slippery for him. And it is default setup that we have applied for this series. A little bit slippery as he comes around that bend. He's a good amount quicker for his first sector. It's a 3:21. And the world record in time trial under perfect conditions is 2:18. And his opening lap was a 2:18. A little bit slippery. A couple of wall contacts. Will he stay out on track for us to finish this lap? Not going to be a great time for him. Hopefully we can get around for a full lap with Wera. So finding the car a little bit slippery at the moment. Gets a little bit loose as he goes up over that curb. There's a very fast sector here, down through the houses. Well, drivers do actually back off quite a fair bit, but you can actually sneak straight through the gap, curb to curb. And we have put the challenge out to the drivers to see if they can try and manage a jump pass, see if they can pass a leading car over the crest. A big jump straight towards that barrier. very hard to try and really learn this track. It's not a regularly driven track. Into that pit lane, even getting into the pits, very interesting. And trying to find a pit stall. Actually, might be a fair few pit stalls left. Oh, we've just got a load in. I think we've probably just had Rooney join in the session. Oh, some glitching going on. Yes, Rooney's just joined us. That's good to see. We'll have a full grid for the final race of the series. It's been a fantastic series. It's been very close racing. We've seen a fair bit of change in the position boards as well with the default setups for the cars. And the cars do stay rather grippy still, as they don't default to a hard compound tyre. They actually are under a special tyre. Actually even have a branded soft, so they're running the Pirelli softs. And the Ferrari 488 Challenge is a little bit different to that of the winning Ferrari of Gallon 350 that we saw from the Bathurst GT3 Enduro last week. It's still a fantastic car in comparison, but just the Ferrari 488 series does actually have a lot more power. Ooh, a few little lag skips showing for Sami. Over to Corby, our championship leader. Yeah, sheep barring on the side of the road as Corby comes down and across the bridge. A little bit slippery for Corby. And then there will be 25 points up for grabs for setting pole position for the race. I think some very good times coming through. 218 by Weru, 219 by DK and Sami. Demon Effects in with a 220. And there's a little bit of gap between... Oh, Pretzels has come through for 223. A bit of a lag skip showing for Pretzelnator. Corby takes that very quick line down through the buildings. Now a little bit wide, it's going to cost him some speed. And with the track being very long, once they get into qualifying, it's going to be rather unforgiving if you make a slight mistake. Gets that car nice and airborne, that rear lifts up. It's only a couple of light wall contacts will all it take to actually invalidate their lap time. Only having 15 minutes. Ooh, a little bit of a battle going up there between Mick Cliff. Not sure whose car that is behind. Rooney's looking to try and get around. Ghosting out as Rooney closes in on him. DK takes that jump rather quickly, and that did put him right in the path of that wall. The speed does need to be really controlled for that jump. Yeah, dirty. It is custom setups for the GT4s and custom setups for the V8s as well. Demon Effects has come through with the quickest time now. 2:18.460. So far there's 17 seconds separating 12 cars. Got 3 drivers to get a time on the board. Rennie joining in later. Ooh, makes a pretty hard hit to that wall. The barbed wire fence holds out pretty well. And things can definitely go wrong through the chicane of those two buildings. We could potentially see some incidents there, especially once they start catching up to some traffic, looking for a pass. Well, I think that's Pretzel's car. He did just get that car up over the curb. It's a pretty big hit, and you can do a lot of front-end damage, as it's actually got some quite large gutters. Nice jump. Turns that back in just in time. They'll avoid that wall. Marky Mark sitting very tight on his tail. They're only a couple of seconds difference in their first timed laps. Marky Mark looking to really get around. He's carrying a huge amount of pace. Truth, there's a big difference in fuel loads here. They're running very, they should be, yeah, very similar. It is, will load up enough fuel for the full 15-minute session. Ooh, nice slide. Mark gets that car nice and loose in the rear and then keeps it well under control. And look at that, we've got 2 world record times here. That's a 2:17.412 by Philly. And DK Rush at 2:17.932. That's a full half a second away from Philly's time. That is very tight. When we're seeing world record times being done in these conditions, it is definitely something, as it's all done through the time trial method, where there is only 5 litres of fuel in the car. These guys are doing this in 57 litres of fuel. And it's optimal track conditions, and you can have custom setups to be able to do that in default in a practice session is fantastic to see. And we are seeing it even more often than usual. The caliber of skill we're seeing from our drivers is absolutely phenomenal. And then that was definitely witnessed with the Bathurst GT3 Enduro last week. On Sunday, it was a fantastic race. Then Gallon 350 lead for the entirety of the race and make a clean sweep in a 2.5 hour race, especially through thunderstorm conditions. No matter what we throw at these guys, they can take it on. Oh, it's going to be a nice jump. Not too much lift. There's 60 seconds remaining of the practice session. DK still out there, looking to wrap up this last lap. He's just coming onto the home straight now. Probably would have returned the pit if he wasn't on for a good one. Will he beat Philly's time in the practice? He does. It's a 2:16.257. That is quick, and that was with him basically being out on track on his own, so it's not even utilising a slipstream at any stage. Lucky, a very heavy spin. That just leaves Malarkey and Pretzel out on track. Not sure if that's AI driving the car, but one of them must be close enough to the finish line for it not to wrap the session up. Pretty sure that's an AI driving that. Malarkey must be close. Gonna do a burnout for us. practice set for the final round, final race. DK Rush showing some phenomenal speed at 2:16.257. Can we see that replicated in the qualifying session? So that we will be having some slightly warmer track temps as the in-game time has now progressed to 10 AM. It did start at 9 AM for the practice session. Weather conditions are still the same, still light cloud cover. Pit lane is pretty much a parking lot. All the cars angle parked in there. Only 15 minutes and we're seeing 2 minutes 20 on average for a lap time. They cannot afford to make any contact. They make contact with the car, make a couple of contacts on the wall, or significantly make a mistake where it's quite heavy contact. That's going to invalidate that lap time. And so we're sitting in quite tight behind either Demon Effects or Gallon 350. I'm trying to find Gallon on my list. I don't actually see him at the moment. There's Demon's car. Cliff tucking in behind Rooney. Taken out by Mick. Ooh, this is where things go wrong at the chicane, as I mentioned in the practice. You only got to just slightly take that off, and he was quite put off by seeing a car spin out just ahead. Did need to bring that car straight back into the pits. So I'm going to give him opportunity for about 4 or 5 timed laps. There's only 12 minutes and 20 seconds remaining of qualifying. Corby needing to ensure to qualify in a very high position and well and truly above Wirra. Wirra can land in a pole position and qualify much strongly compared to Corby. And have a strong race result. There is definite opportunity to be able to win the championship on the final round. Here comes Burr's first timed lap. A bit of a lag sit going on for him. First time laps coming through. Pretzel sets 2:31. Oh, and he's spotting that out. He's going to flick that around. Has he got anyone near him? Oh, that's wall contact. That's going to definitely hurt. At least he has got a time on the board to start. He's got enough time to get out for a couple of laps yet. Simzul and Rooney side by side. Simo slows down to let Rooney through. Marky Mark also landing in a first time lap and then just spins it at the first corner. That's unfortunate. It means it's another time around just to get him another timed lap on. We see all drivers get a time on the board for qualifying. Malaki's just copped himself a grid place penalty. just been scored 1 grid place for speeding in pit lane. Will this be the first timed lap for Mick Cliff? Corby lands a 2:18.2 for his first timed lap. That's him tucking in behind Mick Cliff. Mick just at a 2:33. Head Farmer also qualifying in with a 2:21. That's a very good lap. DG just exiting the pits now. Not sure if he's delayed being getting out onto the track or if he's had to bring the car back in. But our championship leader, Corby 387, setting some strong pace for the opening lap for qualifying. There's 9 minutes remaining. That's a 2:18.2. We did see it get down to 2:16s. Can that be done? It was a phenomenal lap by DK Rush. Should be his first time lap. How will it show? 2:27, it was a conservative lap. You did see similar in the practice session. It wasn't until that final lap, as the session was wrapping up, where we saw him land that 2:16. Billy Manilli also getting very quick times. Game progression is ×2, so as we go through 15 minutes of time, it'll simulate 30 minutes of the session. And we will see track temperatures go up marginally by the end of the session. That's where we start seeing those quicker times in the practice. Like a bit of debris scattered out around the back end of that corner. Very nice line for Philly. Setting his first time laps at 2:32. Jump on board for a lap around Bannochbrae Road Circuit. Courtesy of Sami, hopefully we don't jinx him. For those who have only just joined us, well, this car turned around, looks like Balaki's car. Local yellow shown. That section of track looks like he's turned that around now, it's now gone. To a sharp right hand bend over the bridge and cut a fair bit of that corner. He's good, 11 seconds off that time. That's going to see him at 21. He was playing it very conservative. Nice cut, dropping the tyre just off slightly. You could hear some cars going over the bridges. A little bit airborne. Halfway through sector 2. We saw a little bit of debris scattered out before. Coming up into the town. Yes, it's Philly set to 2:16.578 for qualifying. That's destroying a world record time by 2 seconds in qualifying session. That's phenomenal time. This is a very sketchy corner as well. The guttering on that inside and outside can easily put the car into a spin. Getting airborne and have to turn that car in just in time. And then a lot of understeer as it pulls you out to that outside. Then coming onto the home straight now, final corner. He's on for a pretty good lap. won't be a matter of just being quick for this race. It is an endurance race. It's just going to be making clean. That's put Sami into position 2. That's a 2:17.742. When we first jumped on board for him just through sector 1, he was 11 seconds quicker than his 2:30 that he had set. So we were expecting at that stage a 2:21. So saving another 5 seconds. And look, we're also landing in with a 2:17.265. We're having the championship within his grasp and only just having to get ahead of Corby if he can qualify very strong here. Oh, Corby's taken some damage. He has qualified in 4th. A 2:18 is still going to be a pretty good time to have on the board. There's 4 minutes remaining. Philly's brought that car in. It's not going to really leave too much opportunity to get much of a hot lap in. But you got to be impressed with a 2:16. It's going to be definitely hard to beat. DK Rush gets in a 2:17.280. Yeah, Dirty Monkey, though, 2:15 would be pretty impressive to see. Oh no, making that wall contact. If he's put some damage onto that car now, there's no opportunity to bring the car back into the pits. It will reset him. It's not going to be enough time to get around ready for an actual timed lap. But I have these drivers out there on default setups with over 60 litres of fuel, nailing 2:16s. I'm pretty sure these guys are going to have to jump into the time trials and then land some world record times and see their names up on the boards. That's DG that's just gone in for a spin. Brought that car back in. Hopefully enough time for him to get a time on the board. Larky also needing to get in a time. He's obviously not in for a good lap here. Decides to take out those traffic cones. It looks like Head Farmer scooting past Larky. Head Farmer doing very well with the 2:29. Sorry, 2:21.9, I should say. Hey T-Rex, thanks for joining us, mate. And definitely looking forward to this race. It's going to be great. We've never done this track with Apex Esports League. We have jumped in with the guys for some casual driving and done this track, especially in the V8 supercars. It was a lot of fun. And then that was definitely that night of the casual racing on this track that really inspired to throw it in the mix for a final race. Well, Sami's stolen pole position at 2:16.542. He's only 0.36 in front of Philly's time. Philly's on a timed lap here. So he's just going through the first sector now. He did take some wall contact on that out lap. So he's technically out there with some possible damage. PK's up in 4th position. We're in 3rd. Where it can sneak up a couple spots and take pole. Look at that jump. That was massive. Just brings that car up in time before heading into that fence. Very nice line coming down onto the bridge. Yeah, definitely T-Rex. It is a bit of fast and furious here. Bit of road racing thrown in. Will Wirra take pole? It's going to possibly give him enough time to sneak in another lap. He takes pole position. It's 2:16.284. That's 258 ahead of Sami, and Sami's brought the car back into the pits. This is where it needs to be able to steal the championship in the final round. And it's likely there could very well be some penalty points, as it's going to be a very technical and difficult track to try and pass. So there could be some at-fault errors made that could definitely cost points to drivers. And then with just one wrong mistake, like we saw as they head into the town, making that wall contact, it is a long way to go back to the pits. And if you can't get that car back and forces a retirement, we can definitely see a lot of movement in the championship standings. Nice jump by Corby. Did scrape that wall. Don't know if it's invalidated his time. Hey, Steph. Thanks for joining in for the stream. Yeah, we've seen some great jumps so far. We have put the challenge to the drivers to see if they can actually make a pass on the jump. There's some definite fast and furious driving. Oh, Corby moves up into third. That's only going to be a few points difference in qualifying. That has definitely helped Corby with the championship lead. Corby and Wira are going to battle it out to the end. DJ and Blakey not getting a time on the board then. Paulie and DJ both in the pits. Else out on track. There's just over a minute left to finalise their laps. This is Rooney's last lap. Will he improve? It's a 2:17.741 to beat. Doesn't improve that time. It sits in the 6th position. I think Mark's now bringing it up to the final stretch by the looks of things. Yeah, so he's got enough time to cross the line. Mustn't have been a spectacular lap, so he's making himself familiar with the pit. It is a mandatory pit requirement, so it will be crucial to ensuring a good result here. Pretzel's still out on track. Simo Simzel just wrapping up a lap now. Will he improve? He's got 2:28 to beat. Doesn't improve his position there. 9 seconds remaining, and then we see our final qualifying session for the Pagnian Imports Ferrari 488 Challenge. Now, seeing a fair few record-beating times. We've got the first 7 drivers in qualifying session beating a world record time. 2:18 is the world record time for Project Cars 2. So well done to all those drivers. And we're setting a 2:16.284. It's a 2:58 difference away from Sami. That was still super quick. Then Corby getting back up towards that top end. So in the rest of the field, we have Philly Manilli, DK, Rooney, Demon Effects, Head Farmer, Marky Mark, McCliff, Pretzelnator, Gallon 350, Simo Simzel, Paulie, DG, and Bolaki, who has that one grid place penalty, so we'll just see him start from the back of the grid. Over to pit straight now. Race will be starting for the in-game time at 11 AM. The conditions are still the same from that of the practice and qualifying. Race will be starting in light cloud cover. The race will progress to clear conditions. a whole lot of time in between basically half the grid. It's going to be very interesting to see as they try and scramble for position. They don't want to be racing each other too much, but they don't want to take it too cautiously and get caught up in traffic. There's not too many opportunities to pass very safely. Whereas going to have to really ensure to try and get out the front and just start sailing on for some clean laps. They don't necessarily need to be quick here. It could definitely be a race of attrition, just like Bathurst Enduro. Any damage is going to be a severe disadvantage to them. If over 7-kilometre length track, they being in that first sector, it's a long way to make it back to the pits, especially with significant damage. DK rolling back there a little bit. Nudging forward. Need to see where it really pull ahead here. His main opponent is Corby. He needs to finish significantly ahead of Corby, and he pulls ahead nicely for the start of the race. Sami in position 2, Philly in third. Corby tucking in behind. Oh, there's been a spin. That's Rooney that's gone out around the first corners. There's a few cars flipping. That's going to cause a lot of blockage. Can the drivers get through? That's going to see Rooney now back towards that back end. Damage just within those first couple of corners. If there's performance impacting damage, that's going to be a very painful first lap. We're already starting to push out about a 0.8 just through that first sector. Doesn't have to be too wary of Sami for championship points wise. If he can manage to stay up front. Oh, Corby's taken a fairly big hit to the front. Actually, no, that is actually a little bit of lag. My screen is actually showing significant front end damage to Corby's car. However, the broadcast is not showing that. Nice lines down through the town. The first four have gotten away pretty good. DK Rush coming in 5th position, who has Marky Mark starting to close down on him. We've seen a fair bit of separation from that incident on the first couple of corners. Big Cliff bring up in the 7th with Gallen and Demon Effects nearly going too wide, coming down onto the bridge. Maybe to our race leaders. Ooh, may have been wall contact by some. May very well be lag. Yeah, I think it's lag. He's just side skip, and Corby also side skipping. So here we go, first lap, starting lap 2, and that's a pretty quick opening lap. It's 2:25 from a standing start. That is a phenomenal lap. When planning for this race, I was estimating lap times of around 2 minutes 30. So for these guys to be coming through and setting 2:25s on an opening lap with full race fuel. Guys will probably have this race wrapped up pretty quick at this pace. Oh, Corby has made wall contact, and again. This is going to be painful for Corby. This is not what he needs for the championship. A bit of lag showing still for him. Now I have Wera, Sami and Philly, our first three. Billy quickly closing down on the tail of Sami. Runs a little bit wide. He gets that tyre off. Can he get that back under control? He saves the car. He's only just lost a little bit of momentum, but that's all right. The next sector is much trickier, and he seems to have a fair bit of pace from what we've seen in the practice and qualifying. Need to make up a lot of ground for his sector too. You can see that now as he goes for a pass along the bridge, just coming onto the jump. Not enough pace. Next jump. Big jump. Lots of air. Brings it up just in time, dropping the tyres off into the dirt. And it gets quite scary as they're on the anchors trying to pull that car up. Landing from the air straight into dirt on brakes and then starting to turn back out. Billy now there to take on Wirra. Championship leader Corby having to bring the car into the pits. He's going to have to be able to last out the remainder of the race without having to pit again. Otherwise, it could potentially see any chance at maintaining that championship win. It is still only early yet. One wrong mistake from Wirra could potentially also see him in a similar situation as Corby. But it could all turn around on anyone just yet. Rooney, after having spun out on lap 1 with that big incident, has now moved his way back up into position 6. Not sure if he had to actually go in and pit as a result of that incident. DK currently in 7th position. DJ in 8th. Corby's just gotten around Mickliffe, now also gets past DG. He's making his way back up pretty quickly. Considering having been in and pit after that spin and taking damage and a fair bit of time to actually try and turn that car back around. He's only 36 seconds away from the race lead. Well, Philly's made some more contact on the bridge. It's going to allow Sami to recover a spot. There could definitely be some performance impacting damage that he took. Philly quickly recovering. Doing well through sector 3, passes Sami on the pit straight. The quickest lap so far for the race is 2 minute 20. Up for grabs for the fastest lap of the race. It will be definitely crucial. Could definitely mean winning the championship if Wirra can take victory and then also score the fastest lap. Oh, we just saw a disconnect. Oh, someone has retired out. Disappeared. I think it may be Paulie that we're missing. Did actually look like there was a car glitching on the side of the track just before. Rooney in the pits now. Yeah, it's Paulie's car. You can see him parked in behind on an angle. So that's when the car has been returned to the pits. Apparently Gallen also dealing with some damage. Simo also contending with damage. Looks like some lap traffic coming up ahead. I think that's Pretzelnader. The race leaders now need to get around some lap traffic. They've caught up pretty quickly. It's only on 4 laps around Bannochbrae. Yeah, dirty. Yeah, Vasmac guys, play it safe from the Vasmac pit manager. Yes, it is. They just need to play it safe out there. They don't need to be pushing each other too much. Mark slowly catching up to our race leaders. He's in position 4. The front bar's not looking real good. I think he's bringing that car in. There's going to be a fair amount of aero damage to that car. And he's just copped himself a speeding penalty in pit lane. That's a 10-second penalty. That's going to be costly to him. Where will doomed off to then? Coming up to some more traffic. That's Gallon and Demon Effects just up ahead. They've just been in and pit after contending with some damage. Gallon moves way over, letting the guys through. There goes Sami. Or is that DK's car? No, it must be Sami. It just gets around Gallon. Effects now having Wirra and Philly closing in. Demon's car missing that bonnet. He's only just been in pit. And Philly having some pretty strong pace. But starting to lead over position 3. Sami's dropped back by 3.6 seconds. Several post-race time penalties being applied. Those that don't know, once you see the red number next to the drivers on the standings board, that means they've copped themselves a time penalty. That can be from setting track limits and not abiding by a slowdown request from race control, or speeding in the pits. And Philly, perfect timing to get around Demon Effects. Spot switch there for Demon, slowing down that pace on the exit, coming onto that straight to let the race leaders through. He's going to be catching up to him in a little bit more of a difficult spot to try and get around quickly and cleanly. Wally has exited. Looks like someone else has retired out. I can't make out who it may be. They only have 14 cars on track. Larky currently coming in 5th position. He's 9 seconds away from Marky Mark, who's also wearing 10-second time penalty. Pretzelnader that has actually retired out. Both Pretzel and Paulie. Paulie did leave, so that will be no championship points for him for the final round. Only having scored qualifying points. Now being able to start to close that gap down. Gallon's taken a pretty solid hit. He's bringing that car in for some more repairs. Sami's quickly closing that gap in on Philly. Look at that air from Philly. That was immense. And Cliff closing down on Simo Simzel. Looking to take position 10 away. Goes through inside line. Gets around pretty quickly. That moves him up into 10th. 24 seconds to catch up to Rooney in position 9. DG currently running in 8th position. Gallen's still in the pits, so it's quite a lengthy repair for him. Mike in 6th. With Balaki quickly closing down on him. He's only 3 seconds away now. There's 22 laps, T-Rex. It's currently lap 7 of 22. And it should be possibly, we saw the drivers start with about 65 litres of fuel, 67. Their pit strategy is most likely going to have a fuel requirement. We're only on lap 7. They're down to 34 litres of fuel. Ted Farmer moves out of the way, letting Wura, Philly and Sami through. DK Rush on his lonesome at the moment. He's got 16 seconds to catch up to the race lead. His last lap was a 2:16. He's going to quickly close that gap in if he can keep putting in some 2:16s. Corby after that spill and being in and pit. Have a look and see if he did load in fuel. It didn't look like he grabbed any fuel. He did have to pit in rather early. Could have almost been an advantage for Corby, having had to deal with that damage, getting the mandatory pit out rather early, but I don't think he's going to be able to last out on the track for the entirety of the race, so it's going to have to see him pit back in. He's definitely going to lose some positions. Yeah, definitely T-Rex. It's very much an endurance race, a lot of concentration. Remember, I think there was 25 turns. It's not a very familiar track to most drivers. It's the first time we've ever held it in any of our series. It is a very lovely track, but it is very taxing. Come the end of 22 laps, there's going to be a fair bit of fatigue. Not only physically, but mentally as well. Bring up to see who's nailed the fastest lap of the race. DK setting a 2:16.578. Rooney's done a 2:17.060. DK on fire at the moment, and that lap also a 2:17. Well, it looks like he's got a little bit of front end damage. Now front bar's flapping, it's probably going to cost him a fair bit of speed. Probably going to have to consider making a pit now, as he's possibly going to need tyres and fuel. Philly's made a mistake. Sami's jumped up into position 2. Philly's dropped back a fair bit and he's just spun around again. Gets out of the road for Simo and Demon, I think that was. Philly's going to have to pit now, so it doesn't cost him too much. Hopefully he'll be able to last out the remainder. Probably swapping over to a set of hard tyres now. Definitely last him out, and if it's enough fuel to be able to get through, could even very well be a 2-pit requirement to get through fuel-wise. Unless the drivers can start to play with some fuel conservation strategies. The Philly splash it up. 27 litres. Oh, Wira's made some wall contact. Gonna allow somebody to start closing in. Our championship leader Corby now in 4th position. He's got 22 seconds to catch up to the race lead. Still in the pit, so it's quite a heavy hit. He didn't get any fuel. Slower pace for Wira, playing a little bit more cautiously. He also doesn't have Philly sitting close behind him. There's no windscreen damage, but it looks like that right-hand side may have had a crack in it. He's going to bring the car in. Does Sami stay out on track? Yes, he does, so he takes the race lead. That starts lap 10. Pits. Also not opting for fuel. It's leaving 19 litres in the car. See them start with 60 litres. We're only on lap 10. They're going to have to head back in. DK Rush is now up into position 2. Only 19 seconds behind. His closest competitor for the championship, Corby, is just behind him. He's only 1 second away. A little bit slippery for Corby. Just up ahead, a little bit of air, still quite conservative. Blarkey's starting to close down on Mick Cliff. A lot of air, just gets on the anchors, just to pull that car back across. Loses a little bit of pace as he gets onto the bridge. He's got some very good pace. Very similar time to Mick, both setting a 2:21 and .951 for Mick, 9:57 for Blarkey. Only 0.006 difference in lap time. Oh, Mick's just spun it round. He's facing the wrong way. Marshall moving the green flag despite clearly a local yellow right on his corner. Ed Farmer now looking to do battle with Demon FX for position 10. Both look to be sporting a little bit of damage. Both missing the bonnets to their Ferraris. Both facing the same aero disadvantage. Oh, Rooney puts it in the wall. I think he's missing that rear wing. He's going to have a lot of rear traction gone. That's going to be a very hairy lap getting around. That tail is not going to stay down. And it could potentially be some steering damage as well. That's quite beat up in that car. Right, he's coming up onto the pits. He hasn't got too far to go. Going back in the pits. Bummy's leading our race. Got 16 seconds over DK. We did see DK pit in earlier before. Dummy yet to pit. We're at the halfway point now. Lap 11 of 22. Plays it very carefully. He's seeming to back off on pace just a little bit. I think he's definitely looking to conserve some fuel from his car. Similar with DK. He's got the head farmer just up ahead to get around. 17 seconds away from Sami. Doesn't want to get caught up behind any lap traffic. Backmarker's holding him up was going to be a significant disadvantage, especially coming through Sector 1 when there's limited passing opportunities. Looks like he managed to get around them on pit straight. We are also managing to get through. Still being able to hold Corby off. Still 2 seconds away. And it is a battle for the championship between Corby and Wirra. Wirra makes a mistake. He drops off, goes off wide. That's going to allow Corby to quickly close down on him. Need some more pressure. Oh, and there's a bonnet that was just on the track. I heard Crunch didn't show it on the stream. Looked like Balaki's bonnet was actually in the corner. That could very well have been some front end damage done to Wirra's car by actually driving over that. He seems to be losing off a lot of speed. And it seems to be a fair bit of understeer. I think he may have actually taken front end damage from that. I didn't show it on the stream when I looked across. He's struggling with the car at the moment. Corby's looking to get through. Wirra's going to have to come in and pit this lap anyway. He's only got 6 litres of fuel. Corby's the same, so the two are going to have to pit in this lap. Oh, it's a big spin for Wirra. He's hit the wall. That's a huge wreck. That's going to be some massive damage. It's going to be a lengthy repair for him. You can't even see him. We're in someone's window, by the looks of it. Got 20 seconds to get the car around. Lap traffic gets around him. That's Gallen's car just cruising on past. Unfortunate for Wirra. Head farmer a little bit loose coming down. Fishes it around. Get the car back around the right way before any more traffic comes. Balaki in the pits at the moment. Corby now looking to do battle with DK Rush. Oh, and they make contact as they come into the pit lane. That could very well be a speeding penalty as well. Corby did look like he got on the outside of DK. They were both needing to come in and get fuel. They didn't have enough. It could very well be a penalty situation. Could be costly for points. We're needing to come in and grab some fuel now as well. He's only got 4 litres remaining. And if the drivers have not set their pit strategies correctly here, this is where things will go drastically wrong. They head out and have forgotten to fill the car up. That will see them be forced to retire. Sami needing to pit this lap also. He has definitely been conserving fuel. He's been holding out the front, dropping off a fair bit of speed. I think he's going to try and really push the last remaining. Wura flies off ahead. First to get out. Corby already out on the track. Billy's car not looking in good shape. It's currently in 6th position. We are also copping a time-second penalty. It's a 50-second time-second penalty. Oh, and it looks like he may have retired out. That's a significant speeding, almost to a DQ. Once it gets to a minute, it's actually a DQ. Army coming in. Only 4.5 litres of fuel remaining. We're up to see. DK's filled that car right back up. Where I probably saw that 50-second penalty. If it's not a DQ that made him force out, it was probably just a retirement, as it took away his opportunity for a championship win, and he was in for a very good chance. Just past the halfway point as well. It's lap 14. Marky Mark's 16 seconds behind our race leader, Sami. Sami's been having a fantastic run out there. Retzelator just also leaving the session. This has probably been the most trialling, testing track to date with Apex eSports League. The laps DG. Just disconnecting as well. Unfortunately sees him lose out on championship points for the final round. That's where it's worth big stuff, so we could see some movement on the podium. Bobby looking pretty strong for a championship win at this stage. He had 852 points. Closest competitor was Wira. That was with 736 points. Marky Mark in 3rd place with 570 points. Gallon 350 with 569. And there's 240 points available for a win. It is double that of our main races in the first 4 rounds. Marky Mark looking to definitely have a chance at taking position 2 in the championship if you can hold it out towards that front. Lots of air for Mark. Nice line. He starts lap 15. 7 laps to go. He's got enough fuel to get through. You notice DK loaded his car up with a lot more fuel. He's running slightly heavier. Not sure if that's a safety net that he's gone for. Very nice line. Just brings it up in time. Done pretty well. Haven't had too much attrition, only 3 cars. That's in 14 laps of a very taxing track. In the pits moment. Very fine with only 3.5 litres of fuel remaining. Now it's rubbing, there's a bit of debris. It looked like the rear of one of the yellow Ferraris. Oh, there's a car there. It's the tail end of Gallen's car and the front end. That car is definitely not steering straight. She's pretty well smashed up here. Demon Effects just making it way around. And he's halfway through a lap. So he's got half a lap to limp it back into the pits. Demon Effects also spinning out ahead. That car just did not turn in for Gallen. Demon Effects, we did see get caught up in a couple of incidents and drop down towards the back of the pack. We did see him getting lapped early on, down in around 14th or 15th position. He has now moved up into 6th. He's had a brilliant recovery to move up into position 6. He's 2 minutes 19 away from the race lead. Finishing 6th would be a very strong point still. Philly Manilli, after having been up in position 2 for a majority of the race and then having that significant crash, still remains to be in 5th position. And it's a close battle for the championship between Philly and Demon Effects. Philly's on 446 points, Demon Effects on 458. Spike, not sure if it's someone leaving the session or not. Mikey Mark into the pits now. Reload for fuel. Oh, he's missed his pit bay. He thought it was the next one up. Not sure if he's needing the... They don't know which one's which. They had each other's pit bay wrong. That was both Rooney and Michael. That's a quick away. They're filling him up now. Rooney also getting some fuel. Larky in the pits, filling that car up. Gallen has made it back. Ferrari looking much nicer. Quite low on fuel still. Is he going to be getting fuel at this stop as well? They forget to fill it. Oh, the car's turning tyres. You can see it itching forward just slightly. Doesn't look like it's given any fuel. Going to have to see himself get back into the pits again. Not sure if it'll be enough to get 6 laps in. He does only have to last out for Sami to at least conclude his final lap. Parked up, not sure what's going on. Like he just got back out on track against Philly Manilli, closing in behind him. Here's a lap down on Philly. Dummy feeling pretty lonesome out there at the moment. He's got a 41-second lead out of our championship leader, Corby. Corby doesn't need to really push this car now. All he needs to do is finish and not take any points being lost by risk of at-fault penalties. He's got some damage to contend with. I think even with a win from Marky Marks, that'd be 240 points. It's not enough to be able to steal the championship win away from Corby. Unless, of course, he is at fault for any incidents, and there was a contact between himself and DK. And if we're not being aware of what may have actually happened there, could very well be a bit premature in retirement. He could have still potentially gotten up towards the end. If he sees himself with a potential no redress situation, once we've reviewed the replay, I'd say a hefty amount of points to lose. That is 60 points. A significant at fault where it is redressed is worth 30 as it is. DK and Sami all set to be able to finish out these remaining 5 laps. They're going to fuel, should have enough tyres to last it out. He's been in and fixed up that car. Gallen back out on track. He didn't seem to get any fuel, but I think he's probably going to be right. There's only 4 laps left to go. Should see him at least cross the line by the time the race leader takes the checkers. Sami looking pretty good with a 41-second lead over DK Rush. Only an incident requiring him to pit. It's probably going to cost him. He's 12 seconds away from Marky Mark. Marky Mark does have a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit. Simo Simsel's also taken a 10-second penalty. Gallen has copped himself 52 seconds so far. That's a significant speeding in pits. But we saw get applied to Wera once he went in for his first stop. The drivers do forget to hit that pit limiter. It is very costly. Now getting around Timo Simsel. In the pits. Can't even see his pit crew there. It's quite interesting. EG also making his way into the pits, getting a splash of fuel. Not sure if Gallen is tending to some damage, or if no, he's going in for some fuel. We don't see his crew out there actually fueling him up. Don't forget, if you are just joining us for the stream, do hit that follow button. It's fantastic. We did reach our next milestone of 160 followers, so it's fantastic for all the support we're getting. Do appreciate it, all our members. There's lots of racing action to come. We've got V8 Supercar Series starting next week for Project Cars too. also have the older supercars for iRacing, the VF and Commodore NFG Falcon doing battle in the Pagnian Super 2 series. Army closing down in on Balaki. Balaki's currently 4 minutes 10 behind Sami, so it's a couple of laps down. Balaki doing very similar lap times to Sami's pace at the moment. Sami setting a 2:23.795 last lap. Balaki setting a 2:74.761. Balaki is missing the front. Let Sami through. Sami going to have a nice line as he comes down through the town. That's where it went all wrong for Wirra. Ready, and Simo battling it out. Oh, goes for an outside pass. Makes a bit of contact. Side as Demon effects laps through, and also Gallen catching up. Gallen gets very slippery on the jump. That's cost him quite a big hit. Too critical damage for Gallen. Is going to have to head back into the pits for this lap. Car seems to be okay. It's only minor damage. Keeps that car out. Bummy leading over DK Rush by 34 seconds. There's 2 laps remaining. That's a pretty good safety net for him. Does not need to be setting flat out times now. DK's last lap at 2:17. That's still a quick time to be putting out at the back end. Even doing a few seconds quicker than Sami each lap isn't going to be enough to cover that 32-second gap. That's probably not worth taking the risk and getting that hit. Some significant damage can definitely cost him here. Oh, I think a little bit slippery. Not sure if it may be a little bit of tyre wear, just depending on when he did actually swap out tyres. The car could be starting to skate out on the track. There'll be a bit more tyre wear out there now that the track conditions have cleared. And those temperatures will be going up. Make our way through the list. Currently have Gallen running in 13th position. Very tight on that wall. EG in 12th position. Some front end damage at the moment. Cliff currently in 11th position. Head Farmer in 10th position. He's also missing that front bar. Simsel running in 9th. Also got some loose damage to the front. I think it may be DK Rush or Sami that's actually catching up to him. That's DK looking to get around. Puts himself into the wall, looking to go for the outside. Loses a couple of seconds. He's done some damage to himself. But he does have a whole minute ahead of Mark, who's also wearing a 10-second time penalty. Granny in 8th position. currently doing battle with Balaki for position 7. Balaki having a much slower lap that last lap around. It's a good 15 seconds slower than Rooney's time. Trying to catch down. Balaki is doing pretty well to hold him off, except he's put it in the wall, and that's slightly balked Rooney. He's dropped back off in anticipation that he may very well spin out in front of him. So he's dropped right back now. A little bit slippery for Balaki. I think he may be on some very worn tyres. Is he going to be able to pass him in time? Down onto the bumper as we make our way through the village. Hunting him down nice and wide in that corner. Balaki still pulls away fairly quickly. Balaki loses it. He's lost lots of speed on the bridge. Almost puts him too wide at the jump. Very close. Rooney very short, cutting that corner, coming off that bridge. Quite risky, it could have potentially put him into a spin situation. We have Philly in 6th position. I think that's Corby that he's sitting in behind. Taking it reasonably easy at the moment. All he needs to do is finish. FX in 5th position. Had a brilliant recovery considering the chaos that's occurred to him. Commencement. Balaki gets around. Demon really backing off on pace. He's not going to have, I don't think he's going to have enough fuel to get through. This is going to be costly to him. He's going to take a very slow lap. That's what he's doing. He knows he cannot go back out and around. He's going to wait for Sami to finish up this last lap. Slows down enough. I'm not sure if that's Demon. It's pulled up on the side. Not sure if that's a glitch from Gallen's car. It may actually be stuck in the wall. We did see Paulie's car, I think, get stuck in that exact same spot before having to retire out early. I'm not sure if a very heavy contact there actually does it. If the drivers don't have a car reset button to get themselves out of a clip situation like that, they are very much stuck. There are car reset penalties, but that's only if it's just used to recover yourself from a spin that you could otherwise drive from. That's only to fix you if you are actually spun out, wedged or clipped in a situation like that, or on your roof. Sami's bringing it up to the home stretch. Flash of the lights as he crosses the line, taking the checkered flag home. Congratulations, Sami, a brilliant run around Bannochbrae Road Circuit. BK doing well. Take podium in position 2. Corby could still very well make podium as well. Marky Mark's got 10 seconds on him. That'll be applied at the end of the race. He's currently 5 seconds away. DK Rush crosses the line, taking position 2 in the final race. Well done, DK. Colby's starting to really push down some pace. The car is very light. Mark's car even lighter. He's only going to just have enough fuel to be able to wrap up the lap. He's going to have to probably start conserving and that's going to close that gap for Corby. Corby doesn't need to get around him, he's only got to sit on his tail. Corby's got plenty of fuel to spare, just to close in on Marky Mark. There's 80 seconds remaining to finish up the last laps. Not sure if that was Demon Effects. May have gone for a spin. I think that may have been Gallen. He's got that car back out. I think he's just having some fun with the car on the last lap. Unlucky run for Gallen. Marky Mark coming on to the final stretch now. He's going to lose that podium position. Got 5 seconds between himself and Corby. He crosses in position 3, but Corby will take that by way of post-race time penalty. That moves Corby up onto the podium, taking P3 for our championship leader. Demon Effects in 5th position. I think he's wrapped up the lap. He was running incredibly low on fuel. He's only got 0.3 litres of fuel. I think he did actually cross the line in time, so that was him actually slowing up to allow the race leaders to get past him so he could actually cross the line just after. We have Rooney in 7th position, Balaki in 8th. I'm pretty sure that was AI running him as well. And then we have the conclusion of the final round for the Pagnian Imports Ferrari 488 Challenge. We have Sami taking the victory. And then I think the fastest lap, we've actually seen a 2:15 being set for the fastest lap. Yes, a 2:15.501 being set by Rooney. That's a phenomenally quick time, so that's 3 seconds quicker than the world record time. So well done there to Rooney. That secured him an extra 10 points. Then also on the podium we have DK Rush taking 2nd and Corby taking 3rd position. Then the rest of the field we have Marky Mark, Demon Effects, Philly Manilli, Rooney, Balaki, Mick Cliff, Head Farmer, Simo Simsel, DG, Gallen, and we did lose a few, so Paulie, Pretzel and Wira all missing out on finishing the race. So we'll be inviting in our podium finishers. So we'll have Sami, DK and Corby joining us in a moment. So let's just take a moment to get these guys in. Like always, loading up the menus, adding players into the party chat. The game is running. Right, shot through. Should see them join in any moment. If you do have any questions for the drivers, jump into the chat. I can relay it through to them. Got GK joining into the party.
JT.
Congratulations, Sami. Fantastic drive, mate.
Thanks, mate. Just trying to keep it on the road, trying to keep it clean all the way, and yeah, just paid off in the end, I suppose.
Did definitely. Then only requiring one pit stop too definitely helped. You had that good 32-second lead in the end.
Yeah, I think everyone sort of came over the headphones and that and said realised that we all needed to take on fuel. So I think because everyone pitted before me, that sort of gave me a benefit.
Yeah,
I was able to.
A few drivers having to head back in and go for some fuel again, not realising.
Yeah, so it's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, congratulations, DK, on the podium, mate. Great drive.
Yeah, thanks, JT. Yeah, it was a good drive. Hard work, but fun race.
You did have the fastest lap of the race quite early on, and only just to have it just beaten by Rooney.
Yeah, Rooney took it.
2:15.5. It's quite crazy, but still record-beating times at T16. So I think you guys need to jump in on the the time trials and go and put your name up the top of the board, I think.
Yeah, I might give it a go.
Mhm.
Congrats, Sammy, on the
Corby,
win.
on the
Yeah, you too,
on the
DK.
podium, mate. We got Corby in here.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, congrats on the podium.
Yeah, just.
Just closing in and just in time on mark. He was
Yeah.
actually tending to seemingly conserving a fair bit of fuel on that last couple of laps. So seeing you close in with that 10-second penalty for him, he just closed it in just in time.
Yeah, I had a bit of a spin, I think, second last lap. And he had one going into pit lane. He hit the end of the entrance. Poor fella. If he didn't do that, he would have had me. But I think I had to add something like 60 litres to get through the race.
Yeah.
But I pitted on lap 2 because I was trying to get out of trouble, and then, yeah, I was like, uh-oh. More juice. Yeah. But, yeah, it's tough. So,
Well,
lots of
congratulations on the
carnage.
championship too, Corbs.
Yeah.
You should win it.
Congrats on the championship, mate.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
should be
thanks,
definitely.
guys.
Yeah, so we're having to bail out. So took that big incident and then took a 50-second time penalty in the pits. So costing him a shot at having a crack at getting past you.
He flipped in front of me going through the buildings there, and I was like, uh-oh. And then, I don't know if you caught it, but I ran into DG on the side of him about 200k an hour and put my radiator back to my steering wheel, I think.
Yeah, no, we did. Yeah, we were on board.
Oh,
Right
beauty.
there as it all unfolded in the town.
Oh.
It was quite an accident.
That was a big one. But well done, Sammy, mate. Good pace. And I tacked on to DK after my pit. He was moving. He was going to the top. So he drove away from me.
Yeah, it's good to keep it clean, I suppose. That's all I was trying to do. So just run my own race.
Hit the
A
wall,
little bit
overtaken
scary
the back marker
between DK and Corby coming into the pits at the same time as well.
Yeah, I think I pushed my luck there a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good.
I think it was my fault.
It's all good.
Yeah, well,
that is racing.
Fairly challenging.
I wasn't
be.
in for the championship, so I'm just glad I didn't spoil the race too much for Corby.
No, mate. It was all good.
It's done well. Congratulations and a great series.
Yeah, thanks for hosting the
cool.
series, JT.
Yeah.
Awesome, as usual.
No worries.
Thanks,
Yeah,
JT.
Seeing you in the V8s next week.
Yep.
Look forward to it.
Cheers, mate.
See you then.
Cheers.
See you guys.
Then we have Sami taking victory in the final round with DK Rush in position 2 and Corby in position 3, and then that should pretty much see him take victory for the championship. So do stay tuned with our Facebook page so you can see the results, standings and incident reports. So that's fb.com/Apex Esports League. And we are back again for the start of a new series next week. So it is the Pagnian Imports V8 Supercars Championship, and then there is a lot of action to be seen there. We've got some great tracks coming up for the races. So we'll be seeing ourselves at Watkins Glen to start off with, at Rapuna Park GP, Longleat Street Circuit, and that will be under lights at Dubai Autodrome, and then of course the final at Bathurst Mount Panorama. So if you haven't done so, do hit that follow button so you can be notified when we go live with all our racing action. And we will be starting the iRacing Super 2 series on Monday night. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you trackside next week.